What's up, everybody? It's War Justice here. I'm going to take you into a build guide that I think might be beneficial after Cast on Freeze got its nerf. This is the next best thing. Cast on Death, Minion Death. You can still spawn Comets, dealing large AoE. We're still using all our freeze abilities. We're speccing into cold damage still in the passive tree. This build does require a few uniques. I'll kind of get into the breakdown of this. I'll show you a little bit of gameplay here. As you can see, we cast our Raging Spirits. And what's going to happen is they're going to die. And then we're going to get comets spawning down all over the place as we kill some enemies here. So basically, first things first, we'll just do a little demonstration and then we'll get into the breakdown of the build. This build is very tanky. Good AoE, good damage, all around very good choice. So this gives you a brief demonstration. It's a lot of fun, very strong. Grim Feast gives us extra ES. We're getting a lot more energy shield. We have good life. I'm going to switch to Chaos Inoculation Keystone there eventually, where we don't have any life. And then we'll just rely on our energy shield and be immune to Chaos damage. We'll have the Chaos resistance capped. So basically, all we're using is Flame Wall in this. I'm just literally using the one skill, and it's going to proc all the other skills that we're going to set up. Death on Minion. And then we're going to have the Flame Wall, and then we're going to have Grim Harvest, or Grim Raging Spirits, and then Grim Feast will be proccing as well. So we'll get into what we're using for skills. So how we're on a Sorceress, and how are we getting this much spirit? First of all, 279. And that's all thanks to this Spectre. It's a unique. What's so special about this one? Font of Power. It gives you a percentage increase to spirit. So I have 49% increase to spirit. So that's going to basically, I originally had about 115 without this scepter. So that's increasing it by that much percentage wise. And then we are getting more spirit in this amulet. And this amulet is basically what makes this build what it is. This is the number one unique you need on this build to make it work properly. It will not work if you don't have this amulet. So I would highly recommend getting it. Price has already gone up on the trade website of PoE. So get it while it's hot now, because soon it's just going to be way too expensive to get. So you also want to get the scepter. It's fairly reasonable right now, but again, subject to increase on the trade site. What's so special about the amulet is take 100 fire damage when you ignite an enemy, and you have plus level to fire skills, but you want to ideally get a +1. You want lower the better. We're going to have mana regen rate on this, good percentage wise, 40%. So with the take fire damage on ignite, you're basically not going to be taking the damage yourself. You're going to apply that damage off of you with this keystone here, Necromantic Talisman. It's going to apply that damage to your minions instead of you. So we want the Raging Spirits to die, so that's why we need that amulet, and that's why we need this keystone. It just works hand in hand together. So it's going to kill the Raging Spirits and cause the Comets to proc and deal large amounts of damage and a high quantity of them. So we're gonna spec a lot into energy shields. Anything you can get basically any damage to for cold damage or spell damage. Um, we want lots of mana. I'll have the planner listed below on Mobilytics. Just became partner with them, so I'll have the builds on there. Other socials, Discord, everything is listed below as well if you want to check that out. But I'll have the build planner in here. Hope you guys enjoyed this build. It is the next best, as Cast on Freeze is gone. It's no longer viable. So we got to enjoy this while we can. So we're going to be getting a lot of energy shield here as well. We're going to get raw power, pure energy. Want to get all these nodes here. Want to come over here. First things first, you want to just to start, if you don't have a lot of points to spec into, we'll start from scratch. We'll just kind of work our way up here to pure energy and dampening shield. Work our way all the way up until we get to about this section here. We're going to go left, and then we're going to just get, the first thing we want is Necromantic Talisman. You need that, because if you don't have this node, basically this build is not going to work as well, because you need the damage to be going to your minions and not yourself, or you're going to just die instantly every time. And this build won't proc because you need Raging Spirits to die to proc everything. After you grab that, you can spec, get some more mana, energy, life, and then we're going to take all this cold damage up here. Lots of cold damage. Want this whole section here, and then we're going to come over to the right. We're going to take more intelligence, more energy shield, patient barrier. We want the 60% maximum energy shield. We're going to come back down here. Climate change, just get more freeze duration, build up. We want to freeze those targets and then have the comet spawn down, shattering them. And then we'll come back over here. We'll grab all these nodes. Invocated efficiency, just more for your spell damage and mana recovery. Lots of mana. And then energy, we need meta skills, gain 8% increase energy. We're going to go all the way up, take energize. 25% chance to trigger skills to refund half of the energy spent. This is very important to get as well. Again, then after that, you can just come back over here. You can get, this is pretty good for what we're going to take in the Ascendancy. So Arcane Surge. We're just going to want to take all these increase effects, 40% increase effect, and then just more. This is about an additional, what's that, 45%. And then our Ascendancy, we're going to start off taking Constant Gale, and then you're going to want to take Soaring Winds, and then you're going to want to take Force of Will, and then our last Ascendancy, Heart of the Storm. So we'll have 40% of elemental damage taken recouped as energy shield. Just want to get all that. And then after we get that, then you're going to want to take Chaos Inoculation. We'll have no life, and then we'll be depending solely on energy shield, which we'll have no problem with by that point. We're already at 4,000 and subject to gain a lot more. And then we're going to have chaos. We're going to be immune to chaos, so that's going to be important there. As well, you want to try to cap all your resistances. When we take chaos inoculation, we won't have to worry about chaos resistance, so we won't be taking any damage. Again, with the gear, you want the Scepter, Font of Power, Cloak of Flame, 40% of physical damage taken as fire damage. So this is good because it's basically going to make you tankier. We're going to want to take, obviously, you need this. This is the whole bread and butter of this build. Fireflower. This is what's going to make you make everything work and stick together and proc everything. Threaded Light. We're going to want this as well because you get a lot of energy shield, 61%, 37%. This is, you can get more on this. Increase mana regen rate. And then the biggest thing on this is 9% increase spell damage per 10 spirit. So we got 279, so we're multiplying that. We're getting lots of damage to make this work. Again, you're using Flame Wall. This is going to be our only ability. You can add a couple other ones if you want, just for extra, but you honestly don't need it. All I use is just Flame Wall, and it procs everything with how this works. So we're gonna, when we have the scepter to give us this much spirit, we're gonna need at least like 250 or 240. And then we're gonna take, you can take just 2 casts on minion death, but I have 3 just for the extra damage. If you don't have enough spirit, just take 2. It works fine. You can stack these. You can use these as long as you have the spirit. Make sure it's activated. So we're going to take Comet on all 3. The first one I recommend is Impetus. We're going to gain 40% increased energy. And then we're going to take Spell Echo. This just channels our skills. Then I would recommend taking Spell Cascade. It's more basically channeling, additional targets, more AoE. We're going to want energy retention. Again, this is meta skills are going to increase, which we took those on the passive tree. We're going to take another cast on minion. If you can get 3, and you do have the spirit, concentrated effect, more area damage. This is just an additive. Considered casting. This is just extra as well. Spell damage with hits, just getting more damage again, 25%. Raging Spirits, we want this to be as low as possible for your level. You don't want them to be tanky because they just want to die. All you want them to do is take the damage, which we're taking off of ourselves, giving them to the Raging Spirits. So you want that to be as low level as possible, or else they're not going to die as quick enough, less not being able to reoccur the loop as fast as possible to keep it the uptime on it. So you want that as low as possible. We take Infernal Legion. So we want this. This is just max, more supported skills. Damage per second. Minion instability. Supporting skills explode when reduced to low life. So it just has a little exploding effect. Grim Feast. We want this. This is an additional 30% on this build. So what's so great about this? Recover 130 energy shield, 50% chance to spawn an enemy or reviving minion dies to your presence. So it's just going to keep them alive. When they die, they'll come back. And that creates a loop as well. So it's important. You can have these. You can have the cast on minion death as high as you want for level. Raging Spirits, low spirit gem. You're going to want Grim Feast. You can have that as high as you want. Flame Wall. What makes us work as well, and the only skill we're actually using is Flame Wall. You want this to be a level 1. This is important. Please do this. If not, this will not work as great. The lower, the better. Arcane Tempo. We want this on there. 25% more cast speed. We're going to want to deal damage, so less hits. Does creates more damage. Mobility. We just want to use this basically so when we're casting our skills, we can move around and not be disrupted with moving faster while we're casting our abilities here. Cold Snap. This is just an additive damage. Glaciation. 50% more freeze buildup. So this is just going to freeze them. As we cast our Comets, it's going to shatter the enemies. Strip Away. Supported skills have 30% increase effect. We need this as well. Hypothermia. Heightened Curse. 25% increase effect supported curses. Expanse. We're going to get 50% more area of effect. And plus 6 seconds cooldown time, which is very good. Magnified effect. Supported skills have 40% more area of effect as well. So that's all of the skills. Make sure if you don't have enough, you can just use 2 of these cast on minion deaths. Make sure you activate it when you have enough spirit. Another thing I forgot to mention is a scepter requires 37 strength. So you can just take that anywhere instead of intelligence on the tree. I just took a couple nodes here, like +5. So you can take those wherever. Just gains took 5 over here. Eventually, if you run out, you want to add some more nodes, you can come back down here, just like on custom freeze, grab more cold damage and thin ice, 20% increase freeze buildup, and 50% increased damage on frozen enemies. Just an extra nodes, a couple nodes there. As well, we can take calibration. This is more energy shield, 30%. We can also take refocus, more energy shield recharge rate, mana regen. This is good as well. So just if you're looking to spec into some more points there, we have 70% increased energy shield equipped or from our equipped helmet. This is going to give us a lot more energy shield as well on my helmet. If you can find one for 125% or, even 80 to 100%, this is just going to inflict a lot more energy shield percentage wise. And on all of your gear, you're just going to want to get as much energy shield as possible. So energy shield, energy shield, energy shield on your rings, energy shield resistances, increased mana, maximum mana. That's ideally what you're going to want. Mana, energy shield, and resistances as well. And then within here, you can just get more resistances with your ruins. That pretty much really wraps up this build. Again, as you can see, I got the resistances, maximum mana, energy shield. I have 2,475, but with Grim Feast, we're getting a lot more. It's doubling essentially. Energy shield recharge per second, we're like 400. Energy shield recharge delay, it's only minus 20%. Mana, you want to get as much mana as you can so you can upkeep your mana pool here. So mine's at about 1,300. You can have safely anywhere between 1,000 to 13, 14. And you won't really have any issues with mana. You want to get a lot of regen on that, so it upkeeps it. As well, I believe on flasks, you kind of want like increase amount recovered, increase charges. You can get that. I have 506 mana over 3 seconds. So it just helps there as well. When you start getting into jewels to socket, I recommend taking like a cold damage, cast speed, meta skills, gain 5% increased energy. This can go up to 14% on the meta skills, gain 14% increase energy. So if you want to take that, you got a couple more sockets. You can do one more or two more here. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this build. Mana stack, energy shield stack. Make sure you have these active. You can have 2, if not 3 of these. Raging Spirits, make sure that's low level as possible. Whether you have to go on the trade site and just type in Raging Spirits, you'll see different levels there. Or you come across, you just go back to Act 1 with your character and then do a little RNG and eventually a level 1 Spirit Gem will drop. So you can use that like level 1, 2. And then Flame Wall, again, just want to get that as well. Have that at level 1. It's very important. And what makes this all work again, guys, is you need to get this amulet. You need fireflower. If you're on Sorc and you can't get enough spirit, you need the scepter. It will help you. We're getting 50% increased spirit. That's huge. That's also like very recommended. Just so you can be able to run the 3 cast on minion deaths. That pretty much wraps it up though, guys. A lot of fun. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Hope you like this build and I clarified everything on this build. It just creates a loop. Again, you're going to summon this Raging Spirits. They're going to die because it's taking all the damage on them. Instead of you, have that as low as possible for Raging Spirit skill so they can die faster. And you're not going to take any damage. They're going to take the damage. you're going to just use Flame Wall, and it's going to proc everything. And Comets are going to spawn all over the place, as you've seen earlier. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm loving it. It's the next best thing. I know Cast on Freeze is done. I switched to this a couple days ago and got this working the way I wanted it to. If this does change eventually, then we have a couple other workarounds we might be able to figure out here. But yeah, when you got enough energy shield again, like 4,000, 4,500, switch to, or just take that other keystone, Chaos Inoculation, so you can have immunity to that. And you won't need to worry about your health because we're pretty tanky at this point. So anyways, guys, until the next video, take care. GG's. Hope you like the build. Take care. Bye, guys. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe in the links below. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Cheers.